Imagine that within you exists an invisible door, sealed since before your birth. A door that, if you could open it, would unleash a torrent of abilities, perceptions, and realities that you now only suspect exist. That door is not in a distant temple or on a sacred mountain. It lies deep within your mind. And the most astonishing thing is that this mind is not confined to your skull, nor to time or space. Today we will delve into the most fascinating yet most ignored mystery of all, the quantum unconscious. Not the unconscious described in psychology textbooks, but that vast vibrational ocean where every thought is a wave, every emotion is a code, and every intention is a portal to realities you have yet to experience. Most people move on the surface, believing their lives are limited by what they remember, what they can reason, or what they see before their eyes. But beneath that superficial layer lies a secret territory, where the laws of physics bend, time ceases to be linear, and possibilities multiply like expanding galaxies. This is the domain of the quantum unconscious, where the past and future are merely coordinates you can rewrite. What you will discover here is not abstract theory, it is transformative knowledge, because when you learn to unleash the power of your quantum unconscious, you stop being a spectator and become the architect of your reality. You stop repeating unconscious patterns and begin programming the life you choose to live. In this video, we will explore step by step how to access this hidden level of yourself. We will see its connection to ancient mystical traditions and modern physics. We will reveal techniques and mental keys to awaken dormant potential. Above all, you will understand that the quantum unconscious is not a myth or a metaphor. It is a living tool awaiting your activation. Prepare to question what you believe about who you are. Prepare to feel your reality begin to tremble, not as a threat, but as the prelude to a new creation. Because what is at stake here is not just your mind, but the entire map of your destiny. Today, on this journey, we will open the door. To comprehend the quantum unconscious, we must travel far beyond any modern neuroscience textbook. We must dive into the river of history, where ancient peoples already intuited that the human mind was not a closed box, but a bridge between worlds. In the ancient mystery schools of Egypt, for example, it was taught that the Ka, the vital essence, could travel through invisible planes, carrying information, healing, and revelations. The priests did not see the mind as a biological mechanism, but as a vibrational field connected to the totality of the cosmos. Every ritual, every meditation before walls covered in hieroglyphs was a method to align the conscious mind with a deeper plane, one we might today call the quantum unconscious. In Vedic India, the sages spoke of the Akasha, an ether that contains everything: thoughts, events, emotions, and possible futures. According to them, humans could access this field through deep states of meditation, receiving not only images of the past, but possibilities of futures yet to manifest. In this vision, the mind was like an antenna capable of tuning into realities based on the quality of its internal vibration. In the shamanic traditions of the Americas, the journey of the soul was not just a spiritual metaphor, it was a real practice to access hidden layers of the psyche and bring back visions, symbols, and energies that could transform daily life. The shamans knew that in dreams and trances, the mind was no longer confined by the laws of matter and could interact with a greater fabric where thought directly influenced form. Even in classical Greece, philosophers like Plato and Plotinus spoke of a world of ideas or universal intellect, a dimension where the pure forms of everything that exists reside eternally. The human soul, they claimed, had access to this realm in its most lucid or inspired moments, drawing truths that went beyond sensory experience. The fascinating thing is that although these traditions were separated by oceans and centuries, they all agreed on one thing: there exists an invisible field, a placeless place, where the mind expands and connects with the whole. And in that space, the boundaries between what I think and what is become blurred. Today, with the language of quantum physics, we can describe it as a field of possibilities where every thought collapses into a specific reality. But this revelation is not new. It is a modern echo of ancient wisdom. The ancients taught it through myths, symbols, and rituals. We teach it through equations and experiments. The message is the same. The human mind, in its depth, is a tool of cosmic creation. Imagine your mind is like a vast ocean. On the surface, the waves represent your conscious thoughts, the tasks you remember, the decisions you make, the words you speak. But beneath that surface lies an immense, silent, and deep world, your unconscious. And even deeper, in a layer not everyone reaches, lies the quantum unconscious, the place where the currents of individual thought blend with the ocean of universal consciousness. The quantum unconscious is not simply the accumulated memory of your life or the instinctive impulses you inherited. It is a field of interconnection where your mind links with everything that exists. There, the barriers between I and the world dissolve. Your inner images and the very fabric of reality share the same vibrational space. This means that what you imagine, what you deeply feel, and what you genuinely believe is not locked inside your skull. It projects into the quantum field and begins to shape the possibilities of your experience. To understand this, think of a spider web stretched in the darkness. Every time an insect touches one of its threads, the vibration spreads across the entire web. Similarly, when you emit a thought charged with emotion, that vibration travels through the quantum field and triggers subtle adjustments in the web that holds reality. Unlike the psychological unconscious, which operates mainly based on conditioning and memories, the quantum unconscious responds directly to the vibrational energy of what you emit. If your conscious mind is like an architect drawing blueprints, the quantum unconscious is the master builder who unquestioningly sets the work in motion on the invisible plane. Here lies a secret many ignore. The quantum unconscious does not understand no or negations. It only registers images, sensations, and frequencies. If you tell yourself, "I don't want to fail," what is recorded at this level is not the word no, but the vibration of failure. That is why the way you formulate your thoughts and decrees is crucial. The ancients knew this, which is why their prayers and mantras were always in the present tense, direct affirmations charged with certainty. The bridge to this quantum unconscious is built on 3 pillars. 1. Focused attention. What you observe with full concentration gains more vibrational weight and tends to materialize more quickly. 2. Elevated emotion. Without emotion, a thought is like an isolated spark. With emotion, it becomes a lightning bolt that illuminates the entire field. 3. Rhythmic repetition. The deep mind is programmed through repeated patterns. Like a drop of water constantly falling on rock, consistency shapes the invisible fabric. At this point, you must understand that every dream, every sudden intuition, every meaningful coincidence is a sign that your quantum unconscious is at work. When you sleep, you travel to that depth and, without realizing it, rearrange the threads of your reality. And when you meditate, you consciously enter that space, planting the seeds of what you wish to experience. The true power lies in realizing that you are not a passive observer of your life. You are an active co-creator who, through the quantum unconscious, can open doors to realities that seem impossible today. The difference between someone trapped in inertia and someone who transforms their life is not luck. It is the ability to consciously direct what you deposit in that invisible field. If the quantum unconscious is the great hidden architect of our reality, then learning its language is like receiving the keys to a kingdom that was always yours but remained locked. This language, however, is not made of words as we use them in daily life. It's not expressed through grammar or formal logic, but through symbols, vibrations, and states of consciousness. One of the biggest mistakes most people make when trying to manifest or reprogram themselves is speaking to the quantum unconscious with the language of intellect. They make requests with long phrases full of doubts or formulate desires as if begging for an uncertain favor. This deep plane doesn't respond to weak pleas. It responds to clear images and powerful emotions. In shamanic traditions, for example, rituals aren't mere theatrical performances. They're symbolic technologies. When the shaman dresses in feathers, chants a mantra, and draws a sacred circle, they're speaking directly to the quantum unconscious of the participant and the community, imprinting a new vibrational structure onto that collective mind. The same happens with mantras in the Vedic tradition or visualizations in Hermetic mental alchemy. Everything is designed to operate in the command zone, where images and emotions shape reality. Here's where a crucial nuance comes in: coherence. It's not enough to desire something with your conscious mind if the rest of your being vibrates at a different frequency. For example, you might say, "I want abundance, but deep down feel unworthy of it." This internal contradiction is like sending opposing orders simultaneously. The quantum unconscious receives mixed signals, and thus reality manifests incoherently. To synchronize with your true creative potential, you must align 3 levels. 1. Conscious thought, what you choose to believe and affirm. 2. Internal emotion, the vibrational fuel supporting that thought. 3. Physiological state, posture, breathing, and internal rhythm that must match the desired emotion. When these 3 elements align, the quantum unconscious receives a clear signal and acts like lightning connecting heaven and earth. A simple example: if you want to manifest health, it's not enough to say "I am healthy" while slouching and breathing shallowly. You must feel vitality in every cell, breathe like someone full of energy, and visualize your body functioning in harmony. The quantum unconscious doesn't distinguish between real experience and vividly imagined experience. Both leave the same imprint on the field. Another important nuance is the present moment. This plane doesn't understand future as the rational mind does. For it, everything happens now. That's why decrees and affirmations must be formulated as current realities, not distant promises. "I am abundant" vibrates with more power than "I will be abundant," because the second phrase places your desire in a future that always moves away and never arrives. The initiatory cultures taught that working with the quantum unconscious isn't just for fulfilling personal desires, but for harmonizing your microcosm with the macrocosm. By elevating your vibration and purifying your intentions, what you manifest doesn't just benefit you, it orders a portion of the collective field. This is true magic, the kind that transforms your life while simultaneously influencing the fabric of shared reality. But here's a warning: everything you deposit in the quantum unconscious, whether conscious or unconscious, germinates. If you feed thoughts of fear, resentment, or scarcity, you're planting seeds that will eventually bear fruit. Hence, internal vigilance, the constant observation of your mental and emotional dialogue, is an essential discipline. In summary, unleashing the power of the quantum unconscious isn't an isolated act, but a lifestyle. It's about living each moment as an artist, painting on the invisible canvas of the universe, knowing that every stroke, every color, and every shape are direct orders that this deep mind will execute with absolute fidelity. If the quantum unconscious is that deep ocean where all possibilities await, then each of us is a diver who until now has only swum at the surface. To dive deep and unleash its true power, curiosity isn't enough. You need method, consistency, and clear intention. The first key is conscious observation. Imagine your mind as a garden. You can't plant flowers if the ground is covered in weeds. Conscious observation means recognizing thoughts and emotions as they arise, without filtering them, but also without feeding them. The goal is to identify negative seeds before they take root. Every time you detect a limiting thought and replace it with an expansive one, you give a clear order to the quantum unconscious to recalibrate your vibration. The second key is the deliberate use of creative imagination. Remember that this deep plane doesn't distinguish between physical reality and vividly imagined reality. If every day you take a minute to visualize your goal in detail, using all your senses and feeling as if it's already accomplished, you're imprinting an energetic mark on the quantum field. Do it like someone molding clay, not in haste, but with love and precision. The third key is aligning body and mind in the same vibrational state. Posture, breathing, and internal rhythm are silent messages your quantum unconscious picks up. For example, if you seek confidence, adopt the posture of someone who already has it. Back straight, deep breathing, steady gaze. Over time, the unconscious interprets this signal as evidence and adjusts your reality to match it. The fourth key is working in the eternal present. Avoid projecting your desires as something that will come someday. The quantum unconscious operates in the now. Your decrees and visualizations must be formulated in present tense with phrases like "I am," "I have," "I live." This isn't self-deception, it's tuning yourself to the exact vibration of what you want to manifest. The fifth key is ritualized repetition. An occasional mental exercise isn't enough. The quantum unconscious reprograms through repetition and consistency. Define a sacred moment each day, perhaps at dawn or before sleep, and dedicate those minutes to your decrees, visualizations, or meditations. The repetitive act not only engraves the message, but creates a stable, energetic space for manifestation to occur. Finally, the sixth key is purity of intention. The quantum unconscious amplifies everything, even what you don't want. If you seek to manifest from fear, lack, or resentment, you'll expand those very vibrations. But if you act from love, gratitude, and harmony, the field will respond by ordering chaos in your favor. Ultimately, unleashing this power means assuming your role as conscious co-creator. You're no longer a passive spectator in your life's movie. You're the screenwriter, director, and protagonist all at once. At this point, we can no longer view our quantum unconscious as a distant curiosity or unattainable mystery. You've seen that it's not just a storage room for memories or a dark well that only activates in dreams. It's actually the bridge between your deepest self and the invisible framework that sustains all reality. Where physical laws seem to pause, the quantum unconscious keeps operating, obeying a language older than words, the language of vibrations, images, and pure intention. When you understand this, you can no longer say your life is a product of chance, nor can you keep believing your thoughts have no consequences beyond your own mind. Every emotion you cultivate, every word you speak, and every image you hold internally are encoded orders that the quantum unconscious translates and projects into physical reality. So the question is no longer, does this work, but what am I creating right now? As you hear this, part of you may feel a sacred vertigo, the sensation that you've always held immense power in your hands, but left it dormant out of fear, doubt, or distraction. However, that time of inertia is over. The call is here, and it's no coincidence you're hearing it now. The quantum unconscious doesn't awaken through speeches, but through experiences. That's why your next conscious action will be more powerful than everything you've ever done by inertia in the past. Imagine for a moment that each night before sleep, you consciously choose to plant a seed in this vast field. It could be the image of perfect health, the feeling of unconditional love, or the clear vision of a fulfilled purpose. Now imagine doing this not just one night, but every night, with the certainty that failure is impossible, because at the quantum level, everything planted with coherence blossoms. That consistency is the true awakening of the creator you are. Remember that this awakening won't just transform your individual life. Every time one of us expands their vibration and acts from conscious power, they contribute to a greater change, an invisible network of awakened minds gradually shifting the collective frequency. The personal and universal are intertwined, and your inner journey has repercussions far beyond what you can measure. So from this moment, see yourself not as someone who will try to awaken their quantum unconscious, but as someone already doing it. Every thought you choose today is a stone on the path leading to that version of yourself who lives in complete harmony with the power they always possessed. The world doesn't need more passive spectators. It needs awakened creators. And you, by hearing these words, have already taken the first step.